PSG against Inter Milan Champions League final just ended. Inter Milan, PSG, they both made history. One team wins by five in a final, the other team gets smacked by five in a final.
First time PSG winning, so they made history two times.
I think Inter Milan's weakness is teenagers. Against Barcelona, they couldn't handle a 17, 18-year-old. This game, they can't handle a 19-year-old.
What do you think of the whole game in general? How do you play a great game against Barcelona, go to the final, and you play like you don't know how to play football?
Exactly. PSG did their thing. They won 5-0. Congrats to them. First Champions League final. But come on, Inter Milan. You go to
And
the final and you play like this? You get smacked 5-0?
and everyone did confirm that this was not a fixed game, right? Italian mafia, money getting involved, oil money.
I mean,
I mean, 5-0 is just crazy. The other thing is, so the Farmers League, it takes the Premier League teams and the Italian team for the Farmers League to win a Champions League. Leave it to the Premier League.
PSG has to make a statue right now for Luis Enrique. No joke. Wins the treble for PSG and wins the Champions League final for the first time. And they've been trying this for at least a decade.
Yeah, I think like a decade, 2014, 2015, 20, maybe 2013. No, I think it was 2013, 2014, 2015 the most when they bought all those players.
Man, Enrique has transformed this team. The style of play, the players that they believe in, how the team works for each other.
And leave it to a Spanish coach to play Spanish football to win a Champions League. Now Luis Enrique has two Champions League as a DT. One with Barca which was a treble, and now with PSG, which is also a treble.
Luis Enrique is no joke. And this guy was like, okay, Neymar's gone, Messi's gone, Mbappe's gone, no problem.
He's like, I got injured in Bella back, so that's all I need.
He brought some youth into the team, players that a lot of people don't even know into the team, and they work for each other and the passion and everything, and it shows. And they got it done.
And correct me if I'm wrong. The only team that gave PSG trouble was Aston Villa. They were the closest to knocking them out, if I'm correct. I guess Liverpool kind of gave them a heart attack, but I think Aston Villa was the only one that I could say outplayed them.
Liverpool made them feel some type of way, but I mean, Liverpool was never in it. So Aston Villa had a chance to beat them.
And Arsenal just threw their hands. They didn't go for winning. Just disappointed at Inter Milan. Like 5-0, and it's not like a 5-0 where like, hey, let's go out. We're attacking, we're scoring, or we're playing great football. It was like, did, did they even know how to play at this point? It's like they said, let's take Barca out, play our best football, go to the final, and let's forget that we know how to play.
I would say by like 20 minutes, the first 20 minutes, both teams were doing their thing. Both teams were playing their way. Like you mentioned before, Inter Milan was isn't scared to play out from the back, and you've said that since the Bayern game.
Yeah.
They did it against Barca, and they were doing it here the first 20 minutes. Like they were showing like no type of fear, and it was good. But then like they fell apart defensively.
And that's what carried them this whole, well, I was gonna say not carry them because we did mention earlier in our past videos against Barca when we did say, was this really great attacking or was it really horrible defending? And I think this also tells us something that I think everyone in football already knows, right? You need to have a strong offense as well as a strong defense and midfielder in order to win big things. You know, Barca had a great team this season. Their defense slacked a lot against Inter. They lost to Madrid this season. Mbappe has a bunch of goals, win nothing because they had like no defense. PSG, on the other hand, doesn't have the best strikers, doesn't have the best midfielders, doesn't have the best defenders, but they know how to play their position and they're like balanced from attacking to defense.
I would say I would compare this to the Spain national team when they were going like World Cup European Cup, and they were unstoppable because they were so balanced from back to front. And I don't think this is a real exactly a good comparison because Spain did
Was
have a few
crazy.
superstars, but I mean like the balance of the team. They all worked for each other and they all played as a team, and that kind of what matters.
And it's also important to say that PSG has been spending millions. They sell their superstar. Luis Enrique doesn't spend, and look what happens. They even let Asensio go to Aston Villa, which is the guy that almost eliminated them.
He has the key to the to success because all their big names left. He pulls players from their academy to play, and then they win the Champions League final. I mean, this is like Barca style way of making a team.
And this is what's crazy to me. The Manchester City in 20, was it 2023, I believe, or maybe it was 2022, but the Manchester City final against Inter Milan, I still feel like Inter played better than Manchester City, but obviously City is the one that scored. They won. That was a decent final because it was just like they were all playing strategy. And that Manchester City was way stronger than this PSG. And then this Inter looked much stronger than that one against Manchester City. And then look, 5-0. Like this just doesn't make sense to me. And I didn't believe that PSG was gonna win against Inter Milan before this. I just didn't see how they were gonna break through Inter Milan. And look,
Me personally, I thought it would be a close game. It could go either way. But damn, this is like nothing close.
so you do think, since we were mentioning, you think it's Luis Enrique's Luis Enrique is a superstar here, or was it the players or both?
A little bit of both, but Enrique does deserve a lot of credit, and I'm almost certain that he's not gonna get because coaches, when their team wins titles, it's all about the players, you know? All the focus is on the players. Oh, look at all these guys, all these goals, how they played and everything. But it's never the credit to the managers.
I mean, as far as I know, I think Dembele was like the more outstanding player, but since the semifinal and including this final, to me, he fell off. He was still playing, he was running, he was fighting, still attacking, but he didn't have much of an influence, at least to me, in the semifinals in this game.
And that's where team ball comes in, you know? Your
And
superstar has a quiet game, other players show up. Like you mentioned in the previous video on the Barca game, if Lewandowski doesn't show up, Pedri would show up and score. Or if Rafinha doesn't show up, this guy would score. If Yamal wouldn't show up, this guy would score.
And I also think right now is a time where coaches should be more highlighted than was goalies because there's no Messi and Ronaldo at the moment that outshine anyone, or Ribery's or Robins. Like the stats of players right now are like below average of the standard. So I don't know why they should be overhyping up these players. Even Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, who are like were considered Ballon d'Or, and then now probably Dembele, probably number one because of winning this, but their stats compared to what we're used to are just not there.
Yeah, the coaches don't get enough credit, especially like this final or all the way up until now. The whole season, I think Luis Enrique deserves like gotta be at least 90% of the credit.
And that's good that you mentioned that because I do think it's part of both the teams and the coach. But PSG already had this team and those players. Leave it to a coach to motivate them and make them believe that they could win. And remember his ideology against Barca. He's technically the one that gave the biggest comeback in history in Champions League and was against this team. He scored 6-1 against this team. And they asked him in the interview, what do you think about this team? They score four against us, we'll score six against them. Like, what kind of mentality is that? It's like he doesn't believe in the impossible.
This guy is crazy. I think it's such a good decision from the higher ups of PSG to get Luis Enrique because he was a dang blessing. Because previous coaches would go after like the biggest players, the biggest names to try to get them to the Champions League home. This guy, he loses again Neymar, Mbappe, Messi, and then he pulls players from the academy and gives them a chance.
Yeah, I was gonna say the academy, and also I think Hakimi did was doing pretty well in all the matches. It's after the in the knockout rounds. I think Hakimi is probably the one that stood out to me the most. Running back and forth, defending, scoring, attacking. He was reminding me of Dumfries if he wouldn't freaking lose this final.
Hakimi, at one point, you could see him playing center forward. At one point, he's like pressuring all the way on the left wing. That's insane. Remind people he's a right back doing all this.
This is the best way to put it, and I think PSG fans are not gonna like this. Leave it to Luis Enrique, who invests in PSG like Barcelona. Believe in your academy. Leave it to ex-Barcelona player Dembele, ex-Madrid player Hakimi, ex-Barcelona coach Luis Enrique, playing Spanish style football to win the Champions League final against an Italian team. And if I'm correct, hear me out on this. Remember those finals, Barcelona versus Manchester United, where both teams are strong, like in this case, first 20 minutes is going back and forth, like both teams could win. At the moment, the Barca or Spanish team, in this case, Barcelona scores the goal. The next 70, 80 minutes is full control of Barcelona. And what happened here? First goal of PSG, total control of the game for the next 60 minutes. I think there's something has to be studied with that type of style playing. If you can counter this style and pressure, which Bayern Munich and Madrid have done it many times, you're not gonna win.
Well said. Man, this has to be studied. Come on, guys. Watch our channel, watch our videos. We keep on saying this. Somehow, this type of football always produces.
That's how City won.
We sound like a broken record at this point. We said this style is almost unbeatable.
And I think the only one that could beat them is like Bayern Munich type of style, which is kind of like Madrid type of style, but it's like all similar. And then I think Liverpool, when they won it, they were probably more on the Madrid type of style, counters and intensity like Bayern Munich. But aside from that, congratulations to PSG, first Champions League, and what a way to win it. They could technically do this to Inter like for the entire life.
I just want to bring up the point that it's not easy to score against Inter Milan, let alone 5 goals. And this is an Italian team. They're known for their defending. And PSG playing like Barcelona, with Luis Enrique, made Inter Milan look like noobs.
I
Inter
d
Milan looked lost, honestly. They were like, oh shoot, where are these guys coming from? They're everywhere. Dembele drops back. Hakimi's in center forward. He's up there pressuring left wing. Other players dropping back, going forward. It's just like so much moving around.
the Inter Milan, just so disappointed. I'm like, lose 2-0, even 3-0, but 5-0. And it's just like, this shows you which team really wanted this final. Honestly, I think when Inter Milan beat Barca, it looked like they were just motivated to beat Barcelona because Barcelona was a team to beat this season, and they go to the final. They just, I guess they forgot that PSG made it there for a reason, I guess.
Inter Milan thought PSG was Barca because of Luis Enrique.
Good
And they
way to
thought
put
they
it.
were